Right, you're welcome. Like we told you, it's Workers' Day, and we are here to talk about ourselves, what as it concerns us. You know, some of us are essential workers, some are non-essential, some of us wake up when others are sleeping to go to work. We have some nurses that, are awake while others are sleeping, doing their work. All this we are going to talk about this morning, the welfare of workers, what the government said initially they would do to, help workers, whether they are actually doing it the way they should. And of course, in the papers this morning, we saw a lot of stories, agitations over salaries and increase in prices of goods and services, inflation taking over or taking even the take home that workers are given. My name is Nonye Nwokoye, welcoming you to the show this morning.
And I'm Ajuluchuku Okabwe, wishing you all workers happy International Workers' Day.
All right, and the topic we've come with this morning is all about workers. Now, 2025 International Workers' Day, celebrating work, deserving protection. And in the studio, we have the big fish. We were able to catch him to come and speak this morning. He is none other than the state chairman, Nigeria Labour Congress, Anambra State, Comrade Humphrey Mwafo. It's so good to have you. Welcome to the studio and happy Workers' Day.
Thank you so much, and same to you. We wish all the workers, especially those of us from Anambra State, happy Workers' Day.
And you look so good. I hope this is the uniform we are going to see today all over Ekweme Square.
Yeah.
All right, you're welcome. Now, talking about Workers' Day, let's first of all get to hear a brief history of how it all began.
Well, if we must go back to that history, we know that the Workers' Day celebration emanated from agitation. It's through agitation, strike action, that gave birth to what we are celebrating today. And we're supposed to know that. I discussed that in the radio commentary that was read this morning. So it has been an international event that is being celebrated all over the world. So, and the Anambra State is not an exception. So since after the commencement of that celebration, later generalize it through ILO, and the world over is celebrating it the same day, the first day of May.
And it's 136 years ago, yeah. And we are still agitating today. I don't know. Does it mean that all these years, what actually bettered Workers' Day was not really put into practice that made workers to keep agitating 136 years after?
Well, that's the society we live in. If we say the ruling class are not ready to assist the workers, or maybe to do the needful, do what they are supposed to do, I might not be 100% wrong, because had it been that they are doing what they are supposed to do, there won't be any agitation. When you enter into agreement, you try to keep to the terms of the agreement. Why would the opponent agitate? Like what we used to have in the university system, where the government will sign an agreement with the labor and say, this is what we are going to do, so and so time. You find out that even after 6 years, that agreement is not kept. Why wouldn't there be agitation? You say you are going to pay minimum wage. Probably you are not implementing what you agreed you are going to implement. Where won't be agitation? People will continue to agitate. This is not what we agreed on. The workers are the salary earners. And once they don't get what they see as what's supposed to be the remuneration that they are supposed to get, there will be agitation. And if what we are paying them is not enough for them to cater for themselves, pay their house rent, pay their children's school fees, pay all whatnot, So if they don't get that satisfaction, they will continue to ask for more. So there must be necessary things that government is supposed to put in place to assist workers so that they will not depend solely on their salary.
All right, I think later we will come to that to know actually what they should put in place.
Well, International Workers' Day celebration. Yeah, Nigeria seems to be a different kettle of fish when you talk about workers' enumeration, work environment, safety, and all the securities that actually needs to go with it. Before now, the union used to be very, very formidable up until Obasanjo decided to, break it down, and then by so doing, it now weakened it. And in contemporary times, Nigerians have come to see the NLC, the TUC as toothless bulldog, a lapdog in the arms of the executive. We saw the back and forth of there will be strike, there won't be strike, there will be strike at the beginning of this dispensation. And at the end of it all, we all sat at home. We've witnessed 8 months non-payment of lecturers. We've witnessed strike, incessant strike. We've witnessed tariff being hiked. Labor is nowhere to be found. They just seem to be dancing. We've even witnessed the Labour president himself being beaten and malhandled by politicians' thugs. And then you begin to wonder, if the people that we look up to, that should bring salvation to us, are being treated like this by the so-called people that should be protecting us, do we actually have a NLC that is functional, that can actually look into the problems of workers in this country?
Well, there's something you should know. The era of banging hand on the table is no longer obtainable in this modern society, this 23rd century. The truth is that when you talk of NLC, TUC being a toothless bulldog, remember you are part of it. And what I want to say about that is that when you say that NLC is not doing what they're supposed to do, I will tell you it's not true. Like I mentioned before, what is very important is for the world to know that our leaders are not doing what they're supposed to do. The other day, NLC alone went on strike. I think 2-day strike. That was in 2024. So, and during that strike, the National Assembly, from all walks of life, people were calling the NLC, please suspend this strike. Do you want to put the country in anarchy? This and that. That will have a fragile democracy, this and that and that. So, and at the same time, they will be using the media to, do all these pleadings and rest of them. So what do you expect? We are human beings. What the people we are leading are workers. You also find out, like the teachers, the ASU you have just mentioned, that lasted for 8 months.
8 months.
You are right. You are correct. NLC put this weight behind the ASU because ASU is an affiliate of NLC. So there was a time we threatened to join them in that strike, sympathy strike. There was a time we decided that we are going to join. Before the federal government now said, come, let us dialogue and see what we are going to do. And that's exactly what happened. So, and the strike was suspended. And up till now, those things we have in that agreement have not been met. So, not all the things they have in that agreement have been resolved. And if ASU threatens to go on strike again, society will rise up again. You are keeping our children in the house. You are doing this and doing that. What you are doing is, promoting criminality and so many other vices. So what I'm saying is that it's a collective responsibility. When you had a hike in the electricity tariff, we went on protest. We picketed the EEDC, the one in Anambra State, the Electricity Regulatory Commission, the one in Agwoka. We picketed that. It happened all over the country. The whole states in the Federation, everywhere, we had that protest. NLC had that protest, together with TUC. So, I don't know. For me, I would say that we are doing what we are supposed to do. But government is not ready to listen to us. No. And when we want to take it the other way, the whole, both the Senate, National Assembly, the well-meaning Nigerians will come out and say, please, suspend this action. You are going to throw the country into anarchy. So that is the situation.
In order to get it right, sincerely speaking, stringent measures need to be taken in order to get it right. I still maintain the fact that NLC has a very big role to play in making the government do the right thing. 8-month strike could have been extended to 2-year strike. It's all is meant to be for the improvement of workers and then the country at large. If you ground the country to a halt, then probably you have a better leverage to get your deals, you understand, met with government. But over years, as a child growing up into adulthood, I just see that the government and the NLC know how to play this game. Keep shifting the goalpost because it's a recurrent decimal. And until we have a leadership that will say enough is enough. If the country is going to grind to a halt, let it grind to a halt, so long these demands are met. We are talking about the future of this country. These politicians are tenure, they come and go. But we are meant to serve for 35 years, giving our life 35 years. Our future, the future of our children, depends on what we do here. There are a whole lot of things that should be under the umbrella, not just salary. Accommodation, housing, better work environment. There are a whole lot of things to be discussed about. You read in the paper that 70,000 naira as minimum wage is being paid. But on paper, in our bank account, it's not being reflected. In our take home, it's not being reflected. So you're saying that, okay, you said, okay, that involves me. And I'm speaking now. Do I stand on my own to fight when I have an umbrella body that is meant to champion my cause? Certainly not. So mine is to relate to you how we are being treated. And it is your responsibility and duty as our chairman, as our body, umbrella body, to protect our interests, to do the rest.
All right, it seems that seems to be a challenge, in your activities as labor leaders. Now, could you let us into these challenges that you face as a union?
Well, the issue is about the leaders. Another issue is about the followers. So let me just react to what he said about minimum wage and how it is being implemented. Okay. So for me, and in Anambra State, as far as I know, we have about 46 operational unions in Anambra State. 7 of them joined us last year. So, and when you talk of unions, this union cut across those in public service and those in private sector. So, and for us in the public sector, we know minimum wage has been negotiated. The benchmark at the national level is 70,000. Here in Anambra State, it's 82,000 that Governor approved. I didn't just go to that negotiation alone. We have a committee set up by government. Labour have their own representative. And we're about 8 in number. I was there as the leader of the team. TUC chairman was there. NUT chairman was there. Norge president, the late Norge president was there. The JNC chairman and the immediate past chairman of JNC and the chairman of NAM, Nigerian Nurses and Midwives, was there. The association chairman was there. Then, who else again? Pasan chairman was there and the Juson chairman was there. You see, it cut across all the sectors. Judiciary is there, assembly is there. So, and those of us who are the center of what we are doing. So, and we negotiated this minimum wage. The SSG happens to be the chairman of that committee. So, head of service was there, commissioner for finance, Secretary Jack, and host of others. So, and after that, the chairman, the commissioner for economic planning, So, and we, at the initial stage, we negotiated and we could not agree on anything. So then we went to the governor. We have our own thing, and the government side have their own. So when governor looked at the whole thing, he said he cannot take any of the two. So he made an offer, and we said, no, we cannot accept this. Remember, when you talk of 70,000 naira minimum wage, let me just educate you a bit. What it means is that when you receive this 70,000 naira, they will deduct all the statutory deductions, both your tax, your union dues, and everything. If you have a loan and the rest of them, they will just do the deduction. But the statutory one is this tax and the union dues. And when they remove it, whatever that is left is what we are going to go home with. I want you to understand it. So, and it is called gross and net pay. So, we are talking about before that deduction, what we are being paid in Anambra State is 82,000 naira. But what we pleaded with the governor is that we don't want a situation where, after those deductions, any worker in Anambra State, we don't want anybody to go home with anything less than 70,000.
Now, there's something they call seeing your news to bed in media houses.
Yeah.
That's ensuring that what you did, ensuring that it gets to, or the reason for it, intentions are met. Now, you have been with the governor to negotiate, and it's been said that it's 82,000 naira.
Yeah.
Is there any way or how you guys in labor try to ensure that what you agreed on is being done in all the sectors? For instance, I know and I'm sure that there are so many offices in Anambra State that do not receive 70,000 naira as minimum wage. Are there any way people go around to check and to ensure that these are agreements, that they are paying it? If not, let us know.
And that is the reason why I said the two issues involved now is the leaders and the people that are leading. I cannot be everywhere. That is the essence of having, I've just mentioned the number of industrial unions we have. I cannot be everywhere.
Okay, your job ends at just...
Not really. What I'm saying is that I have representatives. That is the unions that we call affiliate unions. For ABS here, for example, you have Maureen Stone Enujoke as the state chairman of Ratao. You have Emeka Odogwu Emeka, PhD, as state chairman of NUJ. It is their duty to report to me, so and so, these are not earning what they are supposed to earn. Likewise, in every other.
Are they saddled with such responsibility?
Yes.
Okay.
Because you people are directly under them. You have to tell them, this is what is happening in this sector.
They should know that because they work in the sector.
So if they are not earning it, it is their responsibility to, meet with the management first. This is what we agree. Because the negotiation, we didn't do it in the dark. Whatever we do, we have a committee, we have a large ESCO where we'll discuss, this is what the government is offering us. What do we do? Do we accept? We have to agree before we now say it has been taken.
Thank you, Chairman. Then we are now putting it to you.
Yeah.
That probably we are bypassing the ESCO of the Ratao. We are telling you now that 82,000 naira is not being reflected here.
In ABS.
Exactly. I speak for myself and my colleagues.
Okay.
So probably maybe you will now meet the head and then probably they get to sort that one out. There should be uniformity across board. It's as simple as that. When my co-anchor here was asking you, is it your job to? You said, no, this is not your job. That's why you have different
industrial unions.
Industrial unions. But when you were naming the 8, I didn't hear you mention Ratao. When you were naming the 8 people that were there with the SSD and the rest of it all, when you guys went on that negotiation, I didn't hear you mention Ratao. Probably that was where we are having this own.
No. Even if Ratao is there, but all of us, like I told you, we have operational 46 unions.
Yeah.
Operational in Anambra State. So, and if we are going to negotiation, what you must go to negotiation with is just representative.
Yeah.
You mustn't carry everybody. We have a chairman and secretary as members of State Executive Council of NLC. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So when you times it by 46, you know the number.
Yeah.
So how can you go to negotiation with such crowd?
Huge number, yeah.
So
okay, now, in fact, the Labor Day was well expressed in the papers we read this morning. And a lot of people were saying, wishing workers well. And of course, we know that when workers do their jobs very well, it contributes to the development of the nation. Now, with all that we are seeing in our nation, Nigeria, do you think the way workers are treated, is part of the problem we are facing as a nation? Because I know very well that when you treat a child well, the child surprises you in what he will do. In fact, the child will always be looking at, what do I do to make my dad happy? So do you think the way workers in Nigeria are being treated today contributes to the challenges or the problems we face as a nation?
yes. Yes, without missing words. If you want to end corruption, pay workers well. Workers are the people that create this wealth. It's just like these stories they used to tell us that what do I call it? A farmer or a hunter went into the bush with a dog to look for meat, and when they kill the meat, they come back to the house. After preparing the meat and put it on fire, the hunter was telling the family members, don't allow this dog to near this meat. But that dog is the one that killed the meat. So we are the one that create this wealth, the workers. You cannot drive the government without the workers. That is just simple. So the remuneration should be looked into, no doubt about it. If you followed what happened when at the national level they are negotiating in the wage, they started from 600, and eventually they ended up with 70,000 naira. It's not even up to the value. You can't do 70,000 naira like that. That's just the truth. So we have to look at it critically, and if we can end the 70,000 naira and end inflation, create other avenues to support workers, there's no problem. Once you stop inflation, create avenues where workers can lay their hands, go into agriculture, go into farming to support their salary. Society will be nice.
Thank you so much for that. In some climes, there is usually a slot reserved, untouched for the labor. In some climes, when a president or after an election, the labor is being given a slot. Get us your productivity minister, get us your minister for works, or get us. In Nigeria, do we have such operational slot or system in our governance? Because hardly do you see a labor person become productivity minister or even youth minister and the rest of that. Isn't it something that the labor, the Nigerian labor and the TSC and other organizations should actually fight to get a labor to have a stand in the government, rather than whenever decisions are being taken, they will need to be calling you people? You should be at that table where decisions that concern Nigeria is being discussed.
Yes, the essence of creating Ministry of Labor and Productivity, some call it employment and so on, is to make sure that you carry the labor, because labor is a major stakeholder in every government.
The engine room.
Yes. So that is the essence of creating that ministry. So, but in appointment of those who will man the ministry, the executive normally ignores those that are leading in that ministry. But it's wrong.
That's what I'm saying. Can't you have a reason, probably a stance where you can make your...
For example, in Anambra State, we have been calling on our governor to create that Ministry of Labor, or have an advisor on labor, it will help to synergize the government-labor relationship.
Yeah.
Very important. So, because you cannot, be operating in
in isolation.
In isolation.
Yeah.
That is the thing. And again, you find out that even in the appointment of board members in various parastatals, they don't normally pick people who have served and retired in those ministries.
Exactly.
They are the people who are going to perform even better than those they are picking from
their political appointees.
Political allies. Because they have gathered experience. Some of them are putting in 30 years or more in that job. So when you have them as members of the board, or even as the chairman of the board, they will perform far better than others.
All right, now we have a celebration today at the Dr. Alex Ekweme Square, just behind us here. Could you let us know what to expect in that celebration this morning?
All right, thank you so much. Well, for NLC, now the celebration is an organized labor program. That is NLC and TUC. But now I'm going to talk about what the NLC, the preparations we have done and the activities we have embarked on before now. So after which I'll now tell you about what the organized labor is going to do at Alex Ekweme Square. So organized labor started with, last year we had various sporting activities. So this year we narrowed it down to only football, which lasted from last week to this week. On Monday, we had final, which the mayor of Oka South local government went to pick up the final decision. So the final was between JUSON and the Nigerian Union of Mine Workers.
JUSON stands for what? Okay, Judiciary. Okay.
So, and the Nigerian Union of Miners. So earlier before that time, the NUT and that is Nigerian Union of Teachers and the Civil Service Union had theirs. So, and the union and the JUSON won as the champion for that competition. So, and today, Governor is going to present the trophy
to them,
the winner of that exercise. Then yesterday again, because I was telling you about this, saying something about what to do to support workers.
Okay.
So I'm so passionate about it because the welfare of Anambra workers is my major priority as far as I know. So, and we have looked in, last year we had ASHIA, Anambra State Health Insurance Agency. I came to give them, offered free medical checks. This year we had to engage the wife of the governor, and she accepted to assist us through Commissioner for Health and the Healthy Living Initiative. Yesterday they came to, talk to us, and even the Red Cross and the rest of them were there to guide us about safety and rest of them. We didn't stop at that. Economic empowerment. We involved the MD CEO of ASBA. ASBA is Anambra Small Business Agency. The MD came there himself. In fact, the program was declared open by the Chief of Protocol and the Deputy Chief of Staff, Mr. Gramo. So, and after which we had a series of talks, but MD ASBA was there to guide the workers on how to access soft loan that will help them go into agriculture, into farming, and the small things they can do that will help them, survive as individuals and as workers. That depending on their salary alone, they may not meet their obligation and their responsibilities.
Yeah, thank you so much on that. Depending on salaries alone for civil servants, workers definitely won't take us home because we have house rent to pay.
I don't think you finished the celebration today. Today, particularly, it talked about what they did yesterday.
Yes, today at Ekweme Square, from our program, when we have our guests, we're also going to do a march past. The organized labor is even going to present an award to Mr. Governor.
Okay.
You understand? We have series of achievements we have recorded. One, last year I was here, I was telling you people about how they are deducting our money without, sending the money to PFAs, pension fund administrators. So what we call CPS, contributory pension scheme. So they were deducting our money, government is not paying their part. It didn't start from this government anyway. He inherited it. And we probably didn't know about it because when we met him, he said he didn't know anything about it. So for 6 years, they were doing that deduction. But the money is not being remitted to the pension fund administrators. And when we reported this to Mr. Governor, he had to suspend the deduction immediately and set up a committee. We have representative of labor unions in that committee. The whole microfinance bank is another issue. He has set forensic auditors to investigate what is happening there. So it's part of achievement. So the deduction for this 1 year now, they have stopped the deduction. And we are looking into the report of the committee. So there are the things that we are going to present to Mr. Governor. Governor has approved allocation of land. You know, Anambra State is the only state in the southeast that don't have a labor house. Labor house is the symbol, as far as we know, is the symbol. This thing you will look at, you know that workers are represented. And they are represented. It's just like government house. It's just like a local government secretariat. So, but labor in Anambra State, we kept moving from one apartment,
rented apartment
to the other. So he has approved land for us, but no structure yet. So these are the things we are still going to present to the government.
Okay.
So after which we present our award and again the march past.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I was about asking about other things apart from salary enumeration that Nigerian Anambra workers definitely will need. Is there any way in part of the discussions you're having with Mr. Governor for housing for workers? Landlords, especially in Oka, they want us to live on the top of trees in this part of the country. Rent is on the exorbitant side. We can manage with transportation. Because I remember way back in the 80s, there used to be car loans for workers. I have to go to car loan. But let us live in apartments provided by the government so that that burden can be taken off the labor, as in the workers. Yes. Any plan for that?
Yes.
Thank you.
It's part of what we are going to present in our address also.
Thank you.
Know, during P2B regime, there is a land that government acquired at Isiago, meant for low-cost housing for workers. So we have been asking this government, when the immediate past administration was there, to,
scale it up.
Yeah, because a federal mortgage bank is supposed to support the whatever structure that is going to be erected there, but they cannot do it without the support of the state. There are some facilities they said that must be in place. We have presented it last 2 years. It has been a recurring this issue in every May Day. So it's not as if we don't know that workers are suffering when it comes to accommodation.
Accommodation, yeah.
So it's part of what we are going to present. And probably by God's grace, I feel that Governor is going to listen to us because it has been a recurring something.
All right, the program is still Good Morning Anambra, and we are talking Workers' Day. You know, we are celebrating today, and it's a great day for workers. You know, an opportunity for them to showcase their talent and, of course, let the government know they are wearing a shoe that is seriously pinching them, you know, to do something about it. But at this point, we're going to take a very short break. Let's feel the pulse of the masses. The program returns shortly. Do join us again.
Well, if you take a tour of some offices in this Nigeria where people actually go to work, some of them work in an unconducive office environment. You know, the kind of chair, tables, not to talk of AC. Most offices don't even have AC. You know, again, you see them overcrowded in one office just because there are not enough office space. You know, so their welfare, their comfort should also be put into consideration because they are human beings. Even though they are working, they are human beings. So their comfort during the work hour should be put in place. And again, the safety. Every office, every unit should have a safety department. Sometimes we hear issue of a fire outbreak. You know, we hear so many different issues. How do we protect this in this kind of event? That's why this safety unit comes in. Things like fire extinguisher. It must be in all the offices. You know, there should also be exit, emergency exit in all the offices. Because even though we do not pay for emergencies, but the truth of the matter is that sometimes they still occur. Now, when they occur, how will these workers be able to do what? Safeguard themselves. So all these things should be put in place for them. So that at the end of the day, a worker will do his work diligently and retire intact to meet his families.
I think the work is both on the employer and the employee. The employer needs to get security measures on guard to make sure that the workers' life are protected. Like there are some places you work, you don't even see this fire, this thing there. But if there's a case of fire outbreak, the lives of these ones are endangered. And if it is for big firms, you try to get securities, put security men, arm them so that they can, and then for the workers to, while working, you have to ensure that your environment, everything about you just have to be conscious of the environment and do your best to make sure that your life first.
Major ways we can actually ensure safety in most workplaces is, you know, for the management of any organization or industry to put in some, you know, some preventive measures, you know, to be taken and to be strictly adhered to, so that those persons who are working there can actually, you know, take note of those things and then possibly, you know, stay safe. So I believe when the management of the institution or the industry puts down some of these preventive measures and then, you know, more or less have a sensitization platform whereby those persons are being sensitized on the importance and the need for them to, you know, put those safety measures into practice. So I believe that's one of the, you know, the safety measures.
The safety of workers is very paramount because the first role of government is to secure life and property of all the nationals. So there should be security. They provide security. There are enough security to go around. If there's none, then let them employ more people to the security outfits like police, defense security corps. What do you call it? National Defense Security Corps, and other security agencies.
Without workers, a whole lot of things won't really, you know, thrive. So society, as it were, must have a way of protecting workers' interests. Of course, they also have a trade union, their own different groups that actually agitate and push for their rights.
Still talking about the International Workers' Day, celebrating work deserving protection. It is very, very paramount because when you work, you need to take your pay home, and that pay has to be decent enough in order to meet your basic needs. And that's why we have in the studio this morning Comrade Humphrey Nwosu, the state chairman, the state chairman, Nigeria Labour Congress, Anambra State. We have been talking a whole lot, but then let us ask what's the term for this year's International Workers' Day celebration is all about?
Well, thank you so much. I think for the year is reclaiming the civic space in the midst of economic hardship. You know what it means?
Can we?
Yeah, we can.
Is there any possibility?
Yeah, what it means is that the government and the employers of labor must allow the workers to feel the pulse of workers. Their voices must be heard. There must be a dialogue. You must give room for their voices to be heard. Just like you are saying that minimum wage is not being implemented or fully implemented in ABS. It's the same thing. So it is when you bring up this issue that we'll now look into it. So you must have to reclaim that civic space. That gap between the government and the labor is supposed to close.
You know, each year there is this Workers' Day celebration, you know, filled with, you know, nostalgia of what used to happen before now. And I'm kind of, can we ever have that situation again where workers are treated well, that when you see their children outside, people know that these are Omondolo Ibo. I remember a man, the man was a tractor rider. He's at local government area. He works at local government staff. He rides their tractor for them. So that back then, they are the only children that come to school with stockings, their hair plaited, you know, their father most times, because when we were small, we used to go to their house for playing and all whatnot. They bring home some stuff like milk in cartons, rice in bags. These are gifts given to Ndiolo Ibo maybe at the end of the month, or the case may be. But today, you know, and this cuts across every worker. Nobody is left behind. But today, what we see now is people that are connected to politicians, you know, they be getting their goodies from them while other workers are there, you know, suffering. Can we ever get this kind of replay in workers' life in Nigeria?
Well, in Anambra, because when I'm talking, I must be laying emphasis in what is happening in our state.
Okay.
So those are the federal level will now speak for what is happening at federal level. So in Anambra State, we used to receive bag of rice. As far as I know,
December.
I think it started from Pitobi.
During Christmas period,
Christmas period, down to Obiano, and it was sustained. So having it on a monthly basis, I don't know. I don't know how possible that will be, but I know that every Christmas they normally give us a bag of rice. And if they don't bring the rice itself, they will monetize it. So that's what we used to have. So, but going to that era of 80s, it's hard for you to get a leader who has...
It should be better even.
Yeah, yeah.
What we should get here,
you know,
should be better than them.
Yes, all these things we are talking about is about empathy. Having the feelings that this is what we are supposed to do for these people to be happy. When you don't have such spirit, when you don't have the spirit of, seeing people happy, there is no way even if you are made the Pope, you cannot be, have the grace to bless people. It's about empathy. Do you feel what others are feeling? Do you feel what the sufferings? Do you consider that this person might have about 5-6 children, and the salary is just about 70,000?
And do you agree that that workers are more civilized than, you know, there are checks and balances in the system, you know, more than we are seeing now?
Check and balances depends on what the area you are coming from.
You
mean in terms of corruption?
Corruption, the attitude to work, you know, and all what coming to work early and everything about that surrounds work. In fact, every right attitude that we need to be there.
Because of that motivation you are talking about, because I remember those days when you are in the university and when you are about to graduate. So various not even government establishment, but private sectors. But where are those private sectors now? Where is Michelin and so many other companies that normally employ people? They will have will I call it official vehicle waiting for you as a gift, that once you start work, our economy is bad. Our economy is bad. Then, what is the equivalent of naira to dollar? These are the things you should consider.
And how did we get here?
Yeah. So, a lot of water have passed through the bridge. So, unless we tell ourselves the truth, there's something I read in social media. Was it yesterday or so? About Anyoko, Chief Emeka Anyoko. They were asking him his regret at age of 92 or so. Okay. I don't know how true that thing is. He said his regret is seeing that Nigeria is still where it is today. That is a regret. So many of those great leaders have died with that regret in their mind. So we have a lot of, we must have to start afresh. Those who have the interest of the country at heart, they should be allowed to, ascend that throne. Otherwise, we'll remain where we are.
Okay. Yeah, we'll remain where we are when we have politicians that keep crisscrossing from one political party
to the other,
yeah, seeking political gains, forgetting their responsibility. Comrade, Chairman, President, I believe the problem we are having in this part of the world is that the executive, the governors, and the Senate, the House of the Reps, they see workers as people that are more like we are doing service to them. Sincerely speaking, because when you talk about the enumeration, the welfare of workers, the kind of body language attitude they give to it will make you understand that if not that my hands are tied, I don't even think we need these people. We've had governors not pay salaries for 11 months. Yeah. And even with statements like retirees should have children that will take care of them. How can things like this be happening and then we won't have, Nigeria wouldn't degenerate into this this situation that we find ourselves? When the likes of Anyaku, over the news, we've been reading it, his prayer is that Nigeria will disintegrate with the level of the impunity and then the recklessness of our leaders. Yeah. How can somebody be telling me that they need 10 billion to procure solar panel for the State House, whereas we are in darkness in this part of the world and paying heavily for electricity that we do not see? There are a whole lot that is happening that needs address. And I still maintain the fact that International Workers' Day could be a platform where Nigeria will sit and ground the country to a halt to get most of our demands met. I believe somehow, someday, we'll definitely have a leader that has the conscience to know the importance of the labor force of its country.
Yeah.
All right, I don't know. Your message for workers this 2025 International Workers' Day, let's hear.
Well, my message is just simple. A journey of 1,000 miles starts with a step. I believe under this administration, we are better off. Had it been we have gained what we gained in this administration and past administrations, the workers of the state would have been better off. Take, for instance, the implementation of minimum wage, this recent one in Anambra State. It is well negotiated and well implemented. Those areas where we're having issues like you just informed me will be looked into and it will be surely resolved. I assure you of that because Governor has given directive. It should be implemented across board. He even involved the Orchard Brigade and those that they must earn the same minimum wage. So there is hope. That's what I will tell the workers of the state, that there is hope. Where we are going, we have not gotten to that destination. But as far as we know, as far as organized labor is concerned, there is hope in this administration.
All right. In other words, we borrow a leaf from Igbo parlance that said, Ago that's the message coming from the labor leader this morning on the 2025 International Workers' Day celebration in Anambra State. And would like to thank you so much, Comrade Humphrey Mafo, for being here, the State Chairman, NLC. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much, and remain blessed.
All right, and this is how we wrap up the show for today. My name is Nonya Mokoye. Tomorrow is another day.
And I'm Ajuchuku Okabwe. Happy International Workers' Day. Bye for now.